Headlines have been gloom and doom, with low-end to high-end retailers closing stores. Walmart and Macy's just two examples of this. Also, GDP plummeting below expectations. Stocks off to the worst start in decades. And just about every retailer or seasonal business manufacturer complaining about the weather. Yet, there's something you can do about it. And we're here to tell you how Weather Trends 360 can make your business proactive versus reactive. Our 12-time award-winning year-ahead forecasting technology with predictive business analytics can eliminate those surprises and headaches. Weather volatility is business volatility. The weather's never the same as last year, and last year's weather's baked in your sales and business performance. Just about every business complained about the record warm Q4, November through January, with much lower than expected sales. Weather Trends predicted this a year ahead, and it wasn't a surprise. The plunge in sales stems from the fact 2 seasons ago we had the coldest Q4 in decades. Last year more typical. This year the warmest in 120 years. These maps show Q4 and the weather volatility over the past decade. But what does this volatility mean for your sales or store traffic or your business? For coat sales, this Q4 weather volatility was disastrous, especially in the Northeast. Every 1 degree colder can mean a 5% increase in sales. But every 1 degree warmer means a 5% decline in sales. The decline in sales this year was monumental. If you got your weather intelligence from social media, you probably thought it was going to be another epically cold winter like the past few years. Weather Trends 360 was forecasting near record warm for Q4 a year ahead, so there was a better way. Sadly, many big companies ignore the weather altogether, which is a recipe for, well, what we just saw in the Q4 headlines: disaster. Weather volatility only increases as you go down to months or weeks, and this March example shows just how wild the swings in weather are, but, more importantly, how volatile that makes a category like short sales, up 65%, down 55%. So, how do you end the madness? Simple, in 3 simple steps. First, you need to really look at how weather's influencing your category level POS data. Weather Trends 360 has a web portal for clients to do just that in mere minutes. Our objective in analyzing your data is to answer questions like how sensitive your products are to weather, how a 1 degree temperature change influences your sales, what weather causes your sales to surge or plummet, how weather influences your store traffic, how your customers buy in different cities, and how weather influences advertising effectiveness. In minutes, our portal will determine exactly how your store-level weekly sales over the past year or years was influenced by weather. The outputs will explain explicitly the statistical significance in what we call the power of 1 degree on your sales. This simple rule of thumb will make year-ahead sales planning exponentially easier and more accurate, eliminating surprises. Weekly women's short sales, as an example, track very nicely, but only when you compare year-over-year sales with year-over-year temperatures. Here we see that power of 1 degree, with every 1 degree bringing a 2 to 5% increase or decrease in sales. Spring year 1, very warm, sales way up. Not so in spring year 2. Beverage sales typically show about a 1 to 3% volatility for every 1 degree change in temperature just about any time of the year. Weather volatility for most seasonal categories ranges in the 1 to 20% per degree change in sales. Most analyses show an 80-20 rule, with temperatures being a more significant driver of sales, with precipitation just a minor secondary factor. Precipitation, and especially snows, more significant for overall store traffic. To date, we've analyzed nearly 10,000 categories, so even if you don't have quality sales data, we can help you accurately estimate how the year ahead will influence your business. Where a product is sold is also very important, so it's also critical to understand the difference of selling at a mall-based store versus open-air strip mall or standalone retail outlet or online. This will influence what weather is important at different times of the year. As an example, a mall-based store can perform a tad better in a cold, wet July, whereas a home center will fare worse. After just minutes of uploading your weekly POS sales data, you'll not only know how weather influences your sales, but more importantly, a complete sales, marketing, advertising plan by week, out a year, across any of your geographies, from store to DC to company-wide. Weather Trends delivers answers to your questions a year ahead. How much to manufacture, how much inventory to buy, product mix, when to advertise, when to mark down, allocate more or less, store-level energy budgets, labor scheduling, equity performance, setting Wall Street expectations, commodity prices, replenishment, hurricane sales surge. Ignoring the weather is not a plan. It's a futile exercise. You want answers? We've got answers. Without us, you'll be reactive, and it'll be rolling the dice. With us, you'll be proactive, armed with knowledge, no more surprises. At Weather Trends, we have a long 14-year track record of using statistics and climate cycles, not traditional meteorology, to accurately forecast weekly temperatures and rainfall trends across 21 million locations covering every mile on Earth. But most importantly, how that proactive knowledge will influence your business. We eliminate the big surprises the weather will bring you every day, every week, every month, every season. No more surprises. Depending on your weather source, you likely thought last summer would either be scorching hot and dry or epic cold wet. Weather Trends 360 was the closest to reality a year ahead, while others were a week ahead. The numbers don't lie. So, how are you planning July 2016? Are you ready for potentially the second hottest July in decades? Do you have enough seasonal merchandise? Are your advertising campaigns in sync with the weather? We not only provide the monthly picture more precisely than anybody, but we're much more granular with daily and weekly year-ahead forecasts, making our proactive intelligence valuable for just about any business application. Maybe you're a manufacturer of food products, so knowing how the weather will influence commodities is important. Last year, we had 83% to 85% accurate forecasts across the Corn Belt and nailed the July corn spike to 458, which no one saw coming. And no one sees all the high-risk weather for the 2016 Corn Belt like we do. Corn prices will surge in 2016 and 17 with a prolonged multi-year drought. See our Seeds of Success episodes 1 and 2 video series for more on crops and our outlooks. Weather Trends clients had this information a year in advance when they still had time to adjust their plans. Also, few know that many climate indices are aligning for an epic hurricane season in 2016. For more information, watch our Seeds of Success episode 3. Weather Trends clients knew about this potential several months ago to begin building and staging storm-related merchandise. Very few know that an epically cold La Nina winter's on the way starting in the fall of 2016. And many will plan off this past year or past couple of years creating stockouts for cold seasonal merchandise. So, the bottom line for your bottom line? Join the nearly 1,000 business weather-savvy clients who are proactive versus reactive and be surprised no more. Team up with Weather Trends today.